Hello, 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 everybody. It is Coach K. How are you doing on today? Well, guys, we are still on our third chapter with the Laws of Leadership, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. We are walking through this book. And for those of you all who are interested, this, of course, we don't do any recruiting on this page whatsoever. We use this as a platform to teach people about leadership, and it's a free course that you can take every day at 12:05. I am very, very excited about how this book has transformed so many people already, and it is transforming even people on my team, and in a very, very short period of time. One thing about leadership is that it is like a tree. You have to feed it to keep it going and growing. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about a little bit about what we talked about yesterday. We talked about the phases of leadership and growth. One of the phases was you just don't know what you don't know. So we discussed that. We discussed I know that I need to know. That's another thing. Hi, Kim. The third thing was I know what I don't know, you know. And the fourth phase, I know and grow as it starts to show. I know and I grow as it starts to show. And phase five is simply go because of what I know. So, what I want you all to do is if you didn't get to see that series yesterday, go back and look at yesterday's because it is really going to be a blessing to you. And what it really talks about is I want to be a leader and I'm trying to be a leader, but my leadership skills are not showing. What do I need to do to advance my leadership skills so that they will show? So that's what the phases are. The phases will walk you through where you are, and then you can identify exactly where you are in your leadership struggles and figure out how to get there, how to get to where you're going from there. And it really helps because this exposes strengths in you as well as weaknesses. And weaknesses are not weaknesses; they are just opportunities to get better. So if you want to stay the same, then you won't stretch to change. And this is what this is about. This is why it is a commitment for you to be here every day at 12:05. It's a commitment for me to be here every day at 12:05. But leaders do what is necessary. When you have given someone your word, you follow through with that. That's why some people do service industries, some people do product industries, some people have a brick and mortar building business. I don't care what kind. Some people work for other people, they're employees. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Make sure that you do it to the point where people never question your integrity because they already know your history, they know your background, and get to know the people that you want to serve and allow them the opportunity to get to know you so that if something happens, they are never questioning whether you were the bottleneck or not because they know that you walk with integrity and in pure leadership. So you're not going to just allow anything to happen wherein they are disappointed in the services or products that you render to them. So that is very, very important. So today we are on page 30 and we had so many different people that were talking yesterday. We had a quote by Joe Frazier that was really good. You really need to go back and watch that. But today we're going to be talking, we're going to end chapter 3. We're going to end chapter 3. We're going to be talking about Theodore Roosevelt. We're going to be talking about President Roosevelt and some of the things because to segue off of what Joe Frazier was talking about, Roosevelt loved boxing. So he used boxing in one of his greatest speeches. He wanted to talk about boxing. Let me read to you Joe Frazier's information on page 30. He said, you can map out a fight plan or a life plan, but when the action starts, you're down to your reflexes. That's where your road work shows. If you cheated on that in the dark of the morning, you're going to get found out under the bright lights. So when I think about our industry, we do a great deal of presentations. We teach people all the time. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Cookie. We teach people about our businesses through presentation. This is a great example of that. if you don't go to other people's presentations, if you don't go to your company's training, if you don't, show up at company events, if you don't show up on company webinars when it is totally your turn to present in front of people and the lights come on, a lot of times it's not that you're fearful, because some people use the fact, oh, I'm fearful, I'm scared of talking to people in public. It's not that you talk in public all the time. It's the fact that you don't feel like you are prepared. People who feel like they are prepared seem less nervous. My coach is always citing the fact that I'm a trainer by trade. So, it doesn't seem to other people that I am nervous or disjointed, but I am. I get nervous too, and it's never because I'm not prepared, because I am overly prepared for things, because I know that I not only represent myself, I represent Team Dynasty, I represent Team Shaw, I represent my leaders, I represent my spouse, I represent my family. So I try to make sure that I am prepared. But can you imagine someone getting out there to give a presentation and they're not prepared? That's when the nerves come in. And when you're giving presentations, it shows if you've done the work in the dark. It shows if you've studied your products or your service. It shows if you've shadowed people. And one of the things that I do oftentimes when I'm embarking on a new adventure is you'll see me going to the weekly meetings. You'll see me, whether they're live or on Zoom. You'll see me with my leaders. You'll see me with people who have been successful. Why? Because I want to mimic what's right. You don't see me following people who don't have a track record. You don't see me working in the very beginning with those individuals, because I need to know that the source that I'm getting the information from is valuable and viable. So keep that in mind, guys. You got to do the work in the dark to shine in the light, period. So I want to read to you also from one of the country's greatest leaders. This is one of the boxing analogies that he used in one of his greatest speeches. And this, is, of course, is from President Theodore Roosevelt. It says, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives diligently, who errs and comes up short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat." So what does that mean? There are three types of people, guys, and you've got to know this. And you be honest with yourself about who you have been, and who you are now, and who you plan to be. The three types of people in business, in leadership. Number one, the commentator. The commentator, this is the person that has absolutely no evidence of success, but can tell every successful person how they should do it and why what they're doing is wrong. Again, they have no evidence of their own success, but what they do have, and the only thing they have, is an opinion. An opinion is all they can offer. When you go look at their track record, when you go look at their teams, when you go look at the evidence of success, you don't see any, because they have chosen to spend their time commenting, and that's it. Commenting and not doing. Don't be that person. The number two type of leader that you have is the spectator. The spectator, I just want to see what happens. They're always there. They show up. They are essentially a fan. In other words, they want to come and watch the action take place. They want to be entertained. They don't necessarily want to be a part of the real success. So you have the spectator, the person that just wants to see. And where everybody should be trying to grow to is the participator, which is the risk taker. Now, let me tell you about the participator. The participator is that person that says, whether my family goes with me or not, I'm doing it. Whether I have support in the beginning, I'm doing it. Whether I can buy the highest price kit or service package, I'm doing it. Whether I fail over and over again, I'm doing it. It doesn't matter. I have made up my mind. This is what I want to do. I want to reach levels of promotion. I'm doing it. That's where you want to get to. You have to ask yourself, are you a commentator, a spectator, or a participator? And a participator takes risks. That means that there are going to be sometimes that you win and sometimes that you lose. But what a participator or real participator doesn't do is quit when they lose or quit when they fall. The greatest attribute you can have as a leader is tenacity. It's to the ability to keep going. I think what I did on my page a few weeks ago is I put up a picture of one of these clowns, and some of you guys may be too young to remember this, but they used to have a clown when I was a kid, and they have sand in the bottom of it, and they would blow it up, and the kids would punch it, and that clown would go all the way down backward and pop right back up. You have to have that mentality when you are in your own business, when you in a work from home business. Now listen, I don't care if you sell necklaces. I don't care if you sell travel services. I don't care if you sell CBD. I don't care if you sell health and wellness products. I don't care if you sell garments. I don't care what you sell. You have to have the tenacity to get up. You have to make your mind up that you are not going to quit. You've got all kind of stressors on the outside of your business. You've got people that will question your integrity. You've got people that will really go against you as far as your business is concerned, compete against you, I should say. You have people that will try to defame your name so that they can grow above you. Those things are going to happen. So you've got to come into your business and tell yourself, regardless of the things that happen, every problem has a solution. I am not going to quit. It is not in my DNA. There is not a problem I can't solve. There is nothing I cannot accomplish. The only thing a person who refuses to try will get is a life full of regrets. That is from the book of Coach K. The only thing a person who refuses to try will get is a life full of regrets. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to two people. I'm talking to the person who's been watching you in business, waiting for you to quit to see if this is just another thing that you're doing. And they know that you haven't quit. They know that you are successful. They've seen the promotions. They've seen people grow your team, and they still are sitting on the sidelines because they are in between being a commentator and a spectator, and they haven't moved over to participation. I'm talking to you. If you happen to see this video, I want you to know the time for you to be watching is over. It is time for doing, not time for watching, time for doing. So you've got to step into the game. You cannot just continue to say, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, or you would have regrets. I'm also talking to the person that's actually in the business or in a business, and you are not doing your best. You are not pushing the gas all the way down. You're not commentating. You're kind of between spectating and participating. You think you're participating because you're signed up and you're paying your auto ship. But what have you really done to advance your business? Or are you waiting for your leader to come and sprinkle some fairy dust over your business to make it grow? It doesn't happen like that. This is how you get involvement from other people. You have activity happen in your business, and trust me, your leader will then see that there is movement. People who are in leadership understand to work with the working. So if you're not getting a nod, if you're not getting a tap on the back, if you're not getting this, that, and the third, it may be because your business is stagnant and you're not giving your leaders anything to look at. It's a hard truth. It really is. And let me help some of you leaders who are working and you do have movement and you still aren't getting maybe the accolades that you want to get. No, it's because your leader feels like you are above that you have grown past needing that. And they have other people who need the nod on Facebook or who needs to hear a great job or whatever. So don't you get frustrated. You take that energy and you look into your own organization and find somebody who's doing something and you give them the accolades that you want. Give it to them and the universe will automatically bring it back to you, whether it comes through your leader or comes through somebody else. But it's reciprocal. So make sure that what you're not getting, you give anyway. Don't hold on to it because you're not getting it. Give it to the people on your team. Use that energy for that. Be a person of action. Learn to execute your dreams. You got to learn to execute your dreams. You can't dream forever. Your dreams have to turn into reality sometime or the other. I posted yesterday that it's time for me to check into getting my pilot's license. I have been talking about getting my pilot's license for about 3 or 4 years now. It is definitely an aspiration of mine, but for this, for that, for whatever reason, I haven't looked into it. Well, I am going to look into getting my pilot's license on this weekend. What does it take? Because I can't keep saying I want to fly, and I never put forth the effort. You can't keep saying I want to be a director, or I want to be a one-star director, or I want to be this in my company, a diamond, or whatever they're calling you these days. You can't say you want to do that, but you don't have the activity to support that. What are you going to do? So let me give you just some things about Theodore Roosevelt. He was definitely a man of action. Again, when you went to the White House, he was always in a boxing session or judo session. He was always active. He went on really long hikes, and he was going on a hike with a young ambassador from France, and a long walk, got to a stream, could not go through the stream, couldn't walk past it. Roosevelt took his clothes off and swam across it because he refused to let there be any obstacle that he couldn't face. And not only that, he expected the dignitary to do the same because he felt like if you're with me, then you need to adopt what I'm thinking and what I'm doing because I can't come down there. You got to come up here. That's what you guys have to tell some of those people who are talking about your business so negatively that it has you thinking you shouldn't do it. No, you can't come down here. That's stinking thinking. They got to come up here. You can't come to them. And this is what I do with some people, even people who join my business. I pour into them. I give them what they need. I give them the training. If they decide that they want to walk away from their own success, guess what I do? Bye. No, I don't try to talk you into staying. After I've given you everything you need, there's got to be something within you that wants to be there. There's got to be something in you that wants to stay. Because if you quit on this, you'll quit on anything. If you quit when it gets tough because you can't figure out how to get around the obstacles, that means that you don't have coping mechanisms to cope. And it doesn't matter where you go or what you do or whatever new thing you pick up or whatever new company you join. If you don't pick up the leadership skills to overcome, you're not going to do well there either. And honestly, I don't want to be around a whole bunch of quitters. I want to be around people who come to me and say, Coach K, it was hard. I didn't have the sales I needed this week, but I've got a plan. I'm going to do a sale, or I'm going to do an event, or I'm going to go get some more coaching, or I'm going to get some training. But what I won't do is quit. I just wanted you to know it was hard, but I'm not going to quit. Those are the types of people that I want to work with. If you're quick to quit, I tell you before I interview people, I tell them before, if you've got the spirit of quit on you, don't even join. I don't need your joining fee or what. I don't need any of that. I'm not getting that anyway. But what I'm telling you is I don't need that. mindset. And when you raise your level of expectation, your recruiting will become a lot easier, because people will either say, listen, I'm going to have to be my best self when I come on your team, or I'm not coming on your team because you require too much. And that's a good thing, because you don't want to waste your time on people who are not going to invest in themselves. I don't care about you investing in me, because I'm going to be okay. And you've got to have that mindset. But if you're not willing to invest in you, you're certainly not willing to invest in the team. So you got to ask yourself, am I going to keep trying to go and get the low-hanging fruit? Or am I going to recruit people who are worthy of me and my leadership skills? Or am I just going to take whoever's breathing? I'm going to tell you, when I first was in network marketing, I took anything that had a pulse. I don't do that anymore. My team doesn't grow quickly. But when I tell you, the people who are on my team have been with me from day one, I don't have to run them down about their auto ships. I don't have to run them down and beg them to be in training. I don't have to beg them to be at events. Why? Because they knew what the expectation was. Why? Because it started with me. You cannot be a person that wants people to follow you, if you are not a representation of the type of people you want to follow you, because you are going to attract exactly who and what you are. That's why you want to work with what's weak in you, so that you will not attract weak people. So it's in your best interest to be here at 12:05. It's in your best interest to call people and invite people on your teams that you know need assistance with leadership. It's in your best interest to get as many people as you can to a place where they can get help to become the leaders that they are born to be. So even after all of that, after the presidency, he went to Milwaukee to do a speech. This is after his second term. Because you got to remember, his first term, he came in. The second term, they voted him in with the highest votes in U.S. history. So he was such a good president the first time, they voted him in with no issues. After his presidency, he went to Milwaukee. This joker's getting ready to do a speech for an hour, and got from a so-called assassin, got shot. Do you know, he said, excuse me, I've got an hour speech. I know that my rib is broken. I know that I've been shot in the chest, but I came to give these people a speech, and a speech is what they're going to get. My God, tenacity. I'm going to tell you, if we have live meetings, and, people are getting spoiled now where we're having meetings on Zoom, and, people are coming to Zooms because it's more, they can get there and they don't have to go to a hotel. But if you have a hotel meeting, let it rain. Let it rain, and people won't show up. But tell people in the middle of the rain, we're giving red bottoms away for half price. It would be a traffic jam. People have to understand that you cannot major in the minors. You cannot allow minor things to keep you from being successful. I don't care if it rains. Well, I want to go to Indiana to the event, but I can't get a plane ticket, and it's a 5-hour drive. I'm driving 10 hours because I don't want to miss it, because there's something there for me. You have to remove the obstacles and not be your own obstacle. Once you move yourself out of the way, then you're able to do whatever. Would you not make arrangements if it was something else? So it really comes down to, how important is your dream to you? How important is your business to you? How important is your team to you? We find a way to do what it is we want to do. So how easy do you quit on you? That's a great question. And the reason I'm asking this is, I have seen people who will go to churches, who will go to businesses, who are involved in their own businesses, that will work and kill themselves for their leader. Because I believe in service. I believe in serving your leader. I truly do. Grew up in the church, understand that concept. But when you do more for someone else than you do for yourself, then what you're saying is that you're not worthy. Yes, you're supposed to serve your leadership, absolutely, positively, but you never ever work harder for anything more than you work harder for you. So yes, if you're helping your leader with an initiative, that's great. But what about your team? Did you pour that kind of energy into your team too? You've got to make sure that you make yourself a priority. So I want to tell you that if you feel like your business is sick and it's sluggish and it's not moving, as great as Roosevelt was, he didn't start out that way. He was thin, he was sick, he was poorly, he had asthma, he was very skinny, he was nervous, he was timid as a child. And his father gave him some advice. He said, your mind is strong, but your body is weak. You got to grow your body and your mind. Some of us are working in the industry and we're not even exercising. We don't walk 30 minutes a day. I didn't say go out here and do extreme sports. I said give your body some exercise. Exercise your heart. Exercise your mind. Get out here and exercise. Get your body healthy. You can't be in a travel company if you can't travel because you're not healthy enough to travel. So you have to make sure that your body as well as your mind is healthy. He decided, I'm going to fill my mind because even though I'm weak and I'm timid, there are men that I can read about who aren't. So he started gravitating to read about men who were fearless in their own right. And they, held their own place in the world. That's what he studied about. He is a Harvard graduate. He improved himself. So I just wanted to tell you guys, you have to understand that you may not start strong, but if you stand firm, you will end up strong. And even when he was always improving himself, even after he left the White House, he went and he did some things. He had a first class Navy while he was in the White House. Opened up the Panama Canal, negotiated peace between Russia and Japan, got a Nobel Peace Prize. And even after his second term in office, he wasn't through. He wanted another expedition. So in 1903, he went on another expedition to the River of Doubt, which is ironic. So I'm going to tell you, even in his death, he was powerful. When they found him, he had gone to sleep. He actually passed away in his sleep. He had a book under his pillow. He was still reading. He was still had a thirst for knowledge. He was still learning. He was still, engrossed in making his mind strong, even on his deathbed. And Marshall, who was the vice president then, said death had to take him in his sleep because if he would have been awake, it would have been a fight. That's the mentality you have to have about your business, guys. You have to have I won't quit, I can't stop. When somebody questions your integrity, I can't quit, I won't quit, I can't stop. When you don't maybe hit the promotion that you want to hit, I can't quit, I can't stop, I can't do anything. I have to keep going. So in your business, you have to make up your mind that I don't care who comes and goes. I don't care what clique I'm a part of or not. I don't care what success I've seen thus far. I don't care if I have reached or not reached my leadership goals. I can't quit because it's not quitting a thing or a business. It's quitting on me. And that's setting a precedent as far as the rest of my life is going. And there are people, whether they join you or not, who are watching and waiting to see if you are an integral person, if you are about your word, or is just this another thing that you're doing. So when you decide to step into your leadership capabilities now and grow them, you will have people that will follow. Guys, thank you so very, very much. And thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kookie. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Shakira. Hi there. Connie, hi, sweetheart. Hi, Mary. Allen, how are you, sweetheart? You guys, I want you to share this, like this. Share this and like this and, have a live, make a live, invite your teams. We don't recruit on this page. So you can be in any business you want to be in, and this will be good for you. Connie is riding 23 hours to go to Indiana because she wants to meet our leaders. She wants to meet the people on our team. I'm I am very much so impressed by that. Kim and I drove to Dallas for one of the conventions, and we had been working so hard through the convention that driving back, it took us 24 hours to get home from Dallas. And it was worth every hour. We learned so much about ourselves, about our business, about where we need to go. So there are sacrifices that have to be made sometimes. So Connie, I appreciate the sacrifice that you are making to come to the Indiana convention. And when you make a sacrifice like that, it's very hard to quit because you are invested. So the last question for you all is, how invested are you in you? How invested are you in your leadership and in your success? You can't blame anybody else for not getting where you want to be. It's all on you. It's on you. So this is Coach K. Thank you guys for coming, and make sure that you like this, share this, make watch parties with this, because we want to help everybody that wants it. We're going to be here Monday through Fridays, 12:05. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we're gonna have a discussion tomorrow. We're gonna do a lot of interactive things, and I'm not gonna start in chapter 4 tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about the chapters that we talked about and get some of your insight on what you've learned since you've been here. So this is Coach K, guys. Have a wonderful Thursday, and be kind to somebody. Bye now.